let's talk about this mess. And just to give reference, this was from the March 19th episode of the Real Time with Bill Maher.
I like this picture. Who was the woman in the Mandalorian? What did she do? She liked something?
She was a Nazi.
Oh, that's different, right? I'm thinking of somebody else. Well, she's not a Nazi.
She's a white.
Okay, I'm just going to pause it real quick so we don't get claimed. But yeah, right away, she doesn't bat an eye when she says anything about, calling her a Yahtzee. I guess it's already gone because she said it. So cat's out of the bag.
There was actually a time I liked Bill Maher, but the more I got to watch him, the more I started realizing he is everything that people accuse me of being, which is that I talk down to people and that I'm pompous.
Pretentious dick. Yeah.
Yes. Congratulations, folks. I am not Bill Maher, nor am I anything like Bill Maher. Gary, you tiny, insignificant gnat.
She's a white. She's involved in white supremacy.
You're calling her.
She's called other people Nazis.
Right.
So she's the Nazi.
Okay, everyone's a Nazi now.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the real disappointing thing right there, right away. He doesn't push back when she drops this.
It seemed like he was going to, and then he just let it go.
Yeah, just lets it fly. Okay, this is a former senator. There's some responsibility
and
that
an
comes
employee
with
of
that.
ABC.
Oh, yep. Yes.
Owned by Disney.
Like that needs to be pushed back on. Like, you should, if you're going to use that, you need to start showing receipts. You have to be able to back that up with some sort of factual information.
No, she doesn't. She's part of Disney. She's part of the camp. She doesn't have to do anything.
That is the narrative they want.
Don't you love how casually and just easily, smoothly she throws out she's a Yahtzee and she's a white supremacist? Yeah. It's like those are two accusations that are very serious, and should it just so lightly be thrown out like she does and just kind of laughs about it? And then the other guy backs her up on it.
Immediately. He didn't bat an eye either.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, and okay, so and this video, because it's resurfacing, it totally again calls Disney under the carpet of their hypocrisy. Because why was Gina supposedly fired? Because it was a bad comparison. We found out you never compare anything to what happened during the Holocaust or any of that time. And here are two people that, without thinking, just call her a Nazi. So that comparison is fine. But Gina's, which actually wasn't calling anyone a Nazi, was
Taboo.
Yes, I mean she had to go. It was terrible. Couldn't do it. Abhorrent was the comment.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do as I say, not as I do.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like a Mel Brooks.
She does?
Yeah.
Hangs with white
I suppose I'm now subject to defamation.
I don't know. I mean, it depends on
hope
what
you
your
do.
definition of white supremacy
I do too.
So the goalpost there changed a lot.
Okay, well, that's the only truthful thing she said in this entire segment so far. Like she's admitting that she just defamed Gina Carano.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, right off
at
the bat,
least,
she admits it.
yeah.
She didn't give a shit about
Hope
it
I
either.
don't get a defamation lawsuit. Yeah, I hope you do.
Oh, I hope so. I really hope so.
She deserves one. Yep. I mean that's defamation.
She earned it.
Call someone a Nazi and a white supremacist.
Straight up.
You saw a guy in a Klan hood who.
But I think we have to be really careful. There's two things the Republicans think they're going to get Biden on: cancel culture and this whole Dr.
Okay,
Seuss
cut
stuff
this
that's
off.
going-
I don't give a crap about the politics. We don't need to be getting into that. That's love him, but that's Jeremy's territory.
Yeah. But she does go. She's either trying to move the goalpost to take it away from that, but she's also linking this together. And we won't go too far into that side, just because I think it's more important to focus on how she's basically smearing Gina in the video here.
And this lets you know right now that she's doing this, that Gina is that powerful a threat.
Yes. Yeah, that's a very good point.
Because they wouldn't be
she's pushing
bothering if
back.
she wasn't.
If she does this, it could also be the same going with the rumor that's been going around about how Favreau wants more power, right? So if they do this and everyone's going like this, then she does have a chance of coming back. Everyone will be like, well, that's what the senator said, who looks like she gets more Botox in her eyebrows than she does her whole face.
Yeah, Dan Rodwell says down there, these are the same people that keep saying words matter, words have consequence.
What's her name? Heidi Heitkamp? Oh, my bad. I read that wrong.
Heitkamp, yeah.
Heil, Heidi. Heil.
That's not helping the case
Am
here.
I going to get canceled? I think I'll get canceled for that. Heil, Heidi.
That is an awfully German name.
It is.
Yeah, very. Yeah.
in hand, proving that some of these senators can actually read.
Okay, well,
Jesus
she kind of,
Christ.
she contradicts herself, because I guarantee you, she's saying that the other senators can't read, but she did not read what Gina posted. There is no way she did, and to come away with this type of claim against Gina, there's no way she could have read anything that that Gina has posted.
No, most likely her assistant told her the Cliff Notes version, and her assistant has their own bias.
Yeah,
Big time.
and immigration. And so we can't ignore the fact that we got Donald Trump was in part because of political
that's nice. They got
correctness.
Mo Howard over there on the left.
Yeah.
I like how she's
You
bringing
done
up
it.
Donald Trump and he's not even in office anymore.
Well, think about all the
Yeah.
years that we had
Well-
Obama brought up, and when he was out of office. So
well, okay, so there's more context to the video, because it then goes into this longer segment where she, at the same time as denouncing and upholding cancel culture against Gina Carano, she also claims that we have to fight back against it, that it's wrong to do these cancel culture mob tactics against people. It's hypocritical, and it's doublespeak. You know, she's doing it to people she dislikes, but if there's anyone that she perceives on her side, then it's okay to do that. It's beyond hypocritical, and it really bugs me that this did not get pushed back on more by Bill.
Well, I think the reason why it was probably not noticed is because the less eyes on it, the more it doesn't seem relevant. So are we actually doing a detriment bringing more eyes to it?
That's always the risk. It's always the risk.
Because if no one heard
the
about it, then it
Streisand
didn't matter.
effect.
Yeah, it didn't matter.
It's the Streisand effect. By trying to tap something down, you end up making it bigger.
I don't think it will have that effect, though, because the bottom line is the people who feel this way about Gina, you're not changing their minds. I mean, they're out in left field. They're cuckoo, like they just are.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of people that kind of are in society and don't really understand the culture war that we're all in. And videos like this, they have an awakening effect to more and more people of like, oh gosh, like an ex-senator just called someone a Nazi without even batting an eye. So I think it's probably a positive overall, really.
Okay.
Because again, the same people that feel that way, they're some of the ones that we all know them on Twitter, they're not changing their mind no matter what happens. So
of course not.
it's the more rational people, I think, maybe kind of in between or don't really get what's going on, that this video is kind of probably going to be shocking to a degree.
I agree. I only bring that up because I was just bringing up the devil's advocate and how people thought if this is actually is helping a situation or being detrimental. Either way, it's still, in my words, bullshit. And the fact that they're hopping on this train just to slander someone that was part of the whole conglomerate means that either she was told to, she believes this shit, or she just wants someone to look at her for the next 20 minutes to 2 days because she said something online. You know what I mean?
Yeah, what
Yeah,
she's
trying to be relevant. I get you.
Yeah.
Exactly. It felt like she was just trying to be relevant. She was just like preaching to her choir. And these are things that she thinks are popular. So she just threw it out there without really thinking. And you almost hear herself catch the fact that she did that when she brings up defamation.
Yeah.
Most definitely.
Yeah, oh God, I hate how this is going right now. It seems like they are so afraid of Gina and what she represents. The only way they can fight back is just remove her voice altogether.
But that's the only way they can win. All they've been done is, for the last couple of weeks, has been caught in their own hypocrisy. So that's what they have to go for.
Well, again,
Well, yeah, 'cause-
I repeat the fact that apparently she's that big of a threat that she's still being brought up this way.
Okay, so here's the longer segment that was just sent to me.
I don't want to talk about cancel culture and this nonsense every week, but I just don't think people understand how much this is a tsunami and how fast the goalposts change almost on a weekly basis.
He's right there. As soon as you get comfortable, they move it one more time. That way you can never actually be right.
Yeah,
You know,
the
one of the
goalposts never stay
fascinating stuff-
input.
Yeah, one of the fascinating things about watching Bill Maher is that you see him slowly move further and further away from the ideology that he'd been preaching during the Trump administration.
Yep.
He's starting to like become more aware of what's going on around him, and back to what he was back in the 90s before he became, old grumpy condescending guy. I think that's kind of it's an interesting progression to see in a person's character on a week by week basis, because I didn't watch much of his show during the actual lockdown parts where he was doing it from home, but with the ones that I did catch for when he had interesting guests, yeah, you could tell he was like basically ready to snap and be like, this is not how we deal with things. And yeah, it's interesting to see, because even in this situation here, he's trying to play the neutral party to a degree, not much of a degree, but for Bill Maher to a degree. He's basically, because he scoffed at the whole everybody's a Yahtzee type of stuff. And then when the former senator said that she is, he's like, really? Like, didn't they used to be, people dressed in white and burning crosses? Like, he was trying to make an argument of like, is this really the necessary? And that's what's set up for this part of the conversation, which is, yeah, the goalposts keep moving from the crazies, so that you can never be 100% on board, so that essentially they could take down everyone just in like a slow burn type of manner.
Yeah, and they have been doing that. They've been actively doing that.
Yeah, and I mean he's smart. I mean, he's correctly pointing out that it changes daily. What words can be said or not be said change daily. What's acceptable or not acceptable changes daily. And it truly is just a form of control and censorship. And that's why like it keeps getting pushed. Like they change it to whatever they kind of need it to be for that time. And he's pretty right, dead on for saying that.
Yeah,
Well,
he
and
made a
they seem
remark this past Friday. He made a remark like, yes, because he talks about what I talk about, which is how dangerous it is to change the definition of words.
Yes.
And he mentioned that on Friday's show, especially with the bill that recently passed that he doesn't like.
230?
No. Maybe.
Oh, that's from the 90s.
No. This is like one of the relief or infrastructure bills. Like he likes the fact that sometimes it's doing some good things, but most of it is really just waste. Which I think a lot of Americans can agree with. And but yeah, he's like, the only way one party can get anything passed is by it passed, at least in the public mindscape and also within the Senate and the House, is you got to change the definition of words. And it's a dangerous thing, because if you start changing the definition of words, then they don't have any meaning. If they have no meaning, then anything goes, and therefore you get into an Orwellian nightmare.
Yep.
Yeah.
It literally becomes the words, or if they get control of the words, if you get control of the language,
Exactly, Steve.
you're
Exactly.
pretty much what you're doing is you're able to twist any story, any historical fact, any historical issue, anything present or in the future. It doesn't matter. It can happen yesterday. And you can say, I had eggs for dinner. Well, no, eggs has a definition. And since your eggs are white, they must be supremacist. They also must mean you're a supremacist. So they can take, and they're trying to control the way words work, the strength of a word, like the strength of a name if you're going for storytelling, and they're trying to adapt it to whatever narrative it is for that hour, that minute, that day. And once they accomplish that, not only is free thought, free speech in jeopardy, the ability to choose for yourself is in jeopardy. and then you are no longer a human being in a society. You are a robot within a Borg cube.
Marcos said something a minute ago I wanted to go on to. Is it okay if I read what he said?
Yes, please go ahead.
As a society, we really need to start holding people accountable when they falsely slander others.
Yes.
I'm not just talking about high-profile people or companies either. And this is the thing. For the last few years, we've seen libel and slander on a daily basis from every major news agency. And to the point where who the fuck's going to sue who? And I would like to see a calming down period where we can finally get back to normalcy, some kind of normalcy with our media. And eventually, they will have to, everybody's going to have to answer for shit they said about other people. Everything comes out in the wash in the end.
Well, I'm very prepared to answer for the stuff I've said about Alex Kurtzman. I actually have many videos.
Oh, me too.
Yeah, I'm terrible.
You and I will
Please
probably
challenge me on that.
you and I will both be, supporting the other person in our lawsuits against us for the shit that we've said about Alex Kurtzman, who was a garbage writer.
Yeah, I don't think they can prove I caused damages because it's really self-inflicted at this point.
Oh, it's totally self-inflicted.
I want to say something on what you said, because I think as far as getting back to normal, things calming down, I don't really see that happening until these major networks truly begin to feel the hurt of what they've caused.
Well,
And I
they
mean
do.
that financially, because
AT&T
until they
is-
feel it, they're going to keep doing it. And that really is on all of us to, some of these big corporations, it's hard to cut them out of everything. It just is. We would have zero entertainment or anything like that. But we really should, where we can cut them out. Like, try to make it hurt, because as long as they're making money and they have views, they're going to keep doing it.
Yeah.
Well, I believe it was
AT&T. I do want to
Viacom,
put this out there that
CBS.
AT&T is putting the screws to CNN.
Good.
They're doing it slowly, but they are doing it.
And CBS, I think Viacom CBS, they just had a huge hit to their stock. It plummeted. It was today or yesterday. I can't remember which, but these things are starting to hit them because no one wants to actually watch the stuff on CBS.
No.
It's like,
Well, you noticed on CBS that when all those reports came out from Forbes, and they were talking about all the streaming services, what was the one not showing up on that list?
they were not mentioned.
They weren't even in there. No.
Yeah. Okay, and before I hit play one more time, everyone here, smash that like button. It really helps the algorithm, and then share out the link. Let's get more people in here. And
Can you not hear me talking?
No, I couldn't hear
Now
you.
we
Couldn't
did.
hear you.
Yeah.
No, we did just now.
Do now.
I've literally just said it's Paramount Plus, and as of today, from last time I remember hearing it, I think it was around the 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock hour, they have lost 55% in their stock value in general. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's down to $45 a share.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's how much
It's
they've
pretty
lost.
bad.
Wow.
Not as bad as it was this time
That
last
is
year,
what's-
which is at $13 a
That's
share.
what Alex Kurtzman did, and Les Moonves.
Curse his
Just
name.
literally off the top of my head before I came out, wrote down 3 things I could think of. Not just what you do now, it's anything you've ever done. And I'll give you examples of that.
Yeah, well, that's true. Like Twitter, I didn't want to join Twitter for the sole reason that every other week there is someone being canceled just because they said something when they were younger. They made a joke that was in poor taste, or just a joke that somebody didn't like, or something that was taken out of context. And I didn't want to have anything public, but getting a channel going, it was almost required because you have to talk to people, and thankfully I have met some fantastic people because of that.
Aw,
But everyone
thank
here, but there's still that worry. Is like, okay, did I make a joke that somebody in 1 year is going to flip out over?
Yeah. That's some real shit there.
Can
Hey,
I
can
say
you-
something?
Yeah,
Of
Can't live in
course.
fear.
It was a comment I wanted to. Let me find it again. Dan Rodwell. Force of light, will money work? If these people have internalized these beliefs and have become ideologies and money, will money loss matter? If they think that they are on the right side of history. And that's an excellent point. I think that the boots on the ground, Dan, you're absolutely right. They genuinely think they're on the right side of the history, but the people over them know it's all bullcrap to control. And it's going to take the true bosses that are tired of losing money to say, be quiet, like stop doing this. Like if it's ESPN, stop talking about politics, just let them play sports. But so it is good. I get what you're saying, Dan, but I think it can, but it's going to take, say, an AT&T over Warner's that just wants to make money. They care about that more than anything else, and telling them, listen, guys, zip it.
It's going to be harder for them to do such a thing because, again, the government is bailing out Hollywood right now. So long as they still preach that narrative, they're going to not face as much of a financial repercussion as they would otherwise, because they're getting support through us, sadly, through the tax dollars that we pay that goes to the representatives, which have decided to, I would, in my opinion, misappropriately use them to fund something that never needed a bailout before, and to this day technically doesn't, because all they have to do is change their market strategy, and they'll make money. I mean, in 2008, they didn't get a bailout. They didn't need to. They were making movies that people wanted to see. They were making content people were buying. Now they're not. So now they need a helping hand. Well, so they say, but they really don't.
Sorry, Script.
No, go right ahead, Stephen.
Well, I also want to add to that because before I forget, but the other thing is what was also found today, what was brought up is that they have all this magically hidden, just found advertisement funds, and yet they didn't report it. The government doesn't know about it, but they still got bailouts. So they double dipped themselves with taxpayers' money. Is that about right?
Yep. Oh yeah, like they didn't advertise any. I mean, aside from MGM with their No Time to Die Bond film, there was very little advertisement from whatever movies came out. Aside from a lot of the video on demand stuff, they got the very minimum of budgets. So they have, like, they don't need the bailout. Like the fact that they have that advertising cash at their whim proves it. But the thing is, the government's not going to challenge them on it, and we as a people can't do much in that way either, because again, whether we choose not to vote with our wallets or not, vote for our wallets, they're still going to get support. So the only way that's going to change is basically through the ground level with regards to electing people that in your local town and mayors and municipality and all the way up the ticket to people that want to hold bad behavior of this type accountable for their actions, and to do it in a responsible way that doesn't go in the opposite direction too far, so that we don't have to start fighting on another front.
Yeah, that's a good point. It is.
Not just what you say, it's what you listen to. They can get you for that. What you order, who you say you like, any sort of association. If you retweet something, if I like this picture. Who was the woman in the man?
Yeah. This is becoming a massive issue. Anything from your past, and it could be a simple mistake. I know I've been on my phone, accidentally liked or retweeted something just because I was flipping through and my finger hit, and okay, it was out there. Will you get hit for accidents?
Yeah.
It's, oh god.
And the association thing too. It's like if I happen to be a friend of or following somebody who is suddenly declared to be a toxic person who is, shameful and must be canceled, then all of a sudden I am lumped in with that person by association. It's kind of like, hey, I like some of the guy's videos. I'm not a friend of him or anything.
Yeah, you guys got that about for 24 hours a week ago or 2 weeks ago when I stuck my foot in my mouth.
Nothing came after me.
Yeah.
No, Gary,
Didn't
no,
affect me.
you, it was not as big as you thought because I didn't even see it or see all the repercussions. Guess what? We're human. We're going to make mistakes. But it's these kinds
Stop
of
getting
types.
serious with me. I was teasing.
Wait, let me have my sentence. But I'm not trying to be a.
Yeah, but you're kind of correcting me, and I don't need.
No, what I'm saying is I wasn't offended by what you said because at the end of the day, I know who you are as a personality.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. I have enough respect in you to know when you say things, you can own your own mistake. A lot of us can. That's how we were raised. If we screw up, we apologize for it, we move on, and we grow from it. These types here that look for mistakes go years or decades back through your Twitter to look for something just to blow out of proportion. They are looking for ammo because they need to push a narrative and they need any type of relevant data, proof, or fiction they can twist, like rewriting Ripley. There's a perfect example. Just to villainize someone that is making the narrative they are trying to push look opposite of the evil they are trying to point at. They are trying to go against the projection they are putting out. Right?
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah. Keep going, because I think you're on the right track on this.
They spend so much energy coming at us at every angle. Like, let's not even look at Gina Carano. Let's look at the Snyder Cut stuff that happened, and what happened afterwards. They go in. They use cheap ass bots, cheap ass algorithms. We had, what was that dude that was putting all the YouTube sites on left or right, and they didn't know anything. They just let it.
Oh yeah, yeah.
They do all these things with minimal proof and effort, but they use so much of it that to the normal person who sees this and reads this, they don't have the energy to go through to see whether it's real or not. They think they're still in the mindset that media is still a fact checker. There's no more facts.
Yeah,
There's only this side, their side, and the actual truth. And they are trying to bury the truth with their own type of story, their own type of history, the rewording of words, the rewording of meaning. And we are at the point now where they're trying to wipe out history and remake it as something else so they can look like they're always right. If we don't have a history that we can grow upon, how are we ever going to grow as a human society?
Yeah.
Well, if you keep changing
We're literally in a hamster wheel going around and around and around, waiting for Richard Gere to pull us out. That's pretty much it.
Well, I mean, and that's why.
Oh God! Oh,
Really?
Oh, okay. That was well placed. Well played, man.
Sorry, Forrest, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say that's why it's so important that everyone, if you have kids, talk to your kids, talk to your friends, people that you actually can discuss things with, because it literally is a word of mouth game basically at this point. Because ABC, NBC, all these channels, YouTube even, different ones, they're all gonna do their thing. Like they're all on the same team and they're all going to do their thing. And it really comes down to, I think that's why there's so much resentment towards a lot of YouTubers, because people go to YouTube to find people who don't think in this elitist way and just talk normal, just kind of talk common sense. And they despise that because it's something they can't control. But it really is going to come down to all of us, everyone in the chat. It's our responsibility to push back and to make sure the people around us know what's really going on and things like that. I'm not saying push it down their throat. I'm just saying talk about it.
But Forrest, I want to add to that because you're right. The thing is, we're at the point now where they want to tell us what to believe. But what's happening?
Definitely.
The reason why they're not liking YouTube is because I have two things to add to this. First of all, the reason why they don't like YouTubers and YouTubers' content and live streams is because it's discussion they can't control. It is not a CNN property. It's not an NBC property. It's not an ABC property. It is discussion between people in a community that can actually feed off ideas, actually hear the real story, see from different points of view. And guess what? You're not pointing fingers and pitchforks.
Not only that, but they can't pay off anybody to shut it down.
Yeah, and the second thing is I want to include the chat on this. I want in the chat one, if you still watch mainstream news on your TV, and two, if you don't. I want to see the numbers on that because that proves how much we have lost faith in the mainstream media. So if you're in the chat right now, I want to see one, if you still watch mainstream news for your actual news, or two, if you don't, you're usually on YouTube.
And exactly, and adding to what you're saying, the mainstream media, all of them that we're referring to. Okay, so we all go and vote for our elected officials. The news people, whether you realize this or not, everyone listening, watching, they are the unelected officials. Whether you realize that or not, they are telling you what to believe, what to think, for your mind to engage. And that's why I really I got rid of my cable. I'm just tired of it. I don't care what they have to say because their game is too obvious at this point.
That's exactly what I've done. I only turn on the news for 5 minutes to see what the news is for the weather is for the week, and then it goes off. I have not watched anything. Everything's either on my other TV for Netflix, and I'll put DS9 on the background or Invincible. There's no reason to watch cable television at this point. It's not just the streaming wars that is going on. It's the maintaining the relevancy of cable television. That is a big product. That is all their specialty channels. That is all their like Weather Network, Cooking Network. Guess what? You don't need that. You can find all of those recipes by other people on YouTube, and that terrifies them because you're taking away their money and it's given for free, and they can't control it.
And there was something Force of Light said a little bit earlier that I wanted to touch on because it had to do with why they're canceling, and I think how afraid they are of Gina. It seems like she was such a lightning rod for all of this because it's almost like she's a symbol of how to stand up, and they can't have that. So they tell you like right away, the woman here, the senator, she didn't offer any actual evidence because evidence would end up showing that she was wrong. So they say this is what Gina is. This is what this person is. And you're supposed to take that as fact. It's scary that they will no longer show the context of what was happening because they have to control that narrative, control the conversation so they can get rid of you without anyone questioning. And because she stood up, they're afraid.
Well, Yeti, look at what just happened to Sharon Osbourne. Exact same thing. All she did on the talk that day was when the woman said Piers Morgan is a ist, she said, because she's friends with him, she said, show me a case where he is. Like, he's not. I know him personally. Give proof. And just because she demanded that this person give proof for calling this person a serious term, an ist, then she got kicked off the show. She's been fired. And so that's where we are just across the board of, yes, you just believe what we say. We'll throw out these very damning accusations against people, and we don't have to give you any proof. And again, that's where I think it's all on us. We need to really do our own research and look things up ourselves because you just can't listen. Oh my gosh, Yeti's got Gina now.
Oh, yeah. I did not hear anything you just said. I am sorry.
He's sporting the biggest nerd boner ever.
And the reason why they thought he told it the way it is, because he wasn't politically correct. And so when people think they have...
Okay, was that a little too far?
No, you're good, I think.
Okay.
To parse every word, and I can't think about this. That is what's going to drive people crazy, and it's going to further divide culturally this country.
Okay, yeah. So there's some further context to what she was saying.
It's like what's going to further divide this country is referring to half the country as Yahtzees. That's what's further. It's just so infuriating that she wants to take this approach of she's I guess a unifier. After she calls Gina Carano a Yahtzee and everyone who voted a certain way a Yahtzee, and they're all is too. It's just absurd. I think the best things that really could happen, it's kind of like how Disney, really Hollywood, they decided they were going to make an example of Gina Carano, that everyone walk the line or this is going to happen to you next. And it would almost be nice on the flip if Gina really would sue this woman for slander / defamation.
If there's a God, I pray she does.
Because it comes a point, we need an example on the other side that you should not so flippantly throw out such harsh terms that carry very serious connotations with them. I mean, you just should not be able to just so lightly call someone a Yahtzee. It's a matter of fact. I don't know.
And like you said, and it's so true what you said. She was so flip with how she did it.
Yes.
So cavalier. Um,
Well,
oh my God.
that's the thing. That's the thing that really bugs me. She said it factually. It's not going with, yeah. This is my opinion. No. This is what she does and associates with this type of people. Like,
Therefore,
no, that's
she
not.
is.
Yeah.
Well, what gets me is he actually, even though Bill doesn't really call her out on it, he goes, "Oh, well, she's not." He gives her a moment to kind of take it back.
Yeah.
And then she just goes further into it with, "Oh, well, she's a white supreme. You guys know the word. I don't think we're supposed to say it on YouTube." But so she just doubled down. I mean, it got worse.
It did.
She felt like she had momentum.
Yeah.
Oh, well, when the audience laughs and cheers, they feel this bravado. Oh, they like me. I'll go ahead and say more. And it's like, well, that's an echo chamber. She's in an echo chamber of people who already think stupidly.
Yeah, absolutely.
I guarantee there's no intellectual giants in that fucking room.
No, there couldn't be. They'd be fired.
And that includes Bill Maher. Fuck Bill Maher.
Okay, let's continue.
But I am so sick of the Republicans using the phrase cancel culture to somehow
Okay, so
victimize
this is
the
going more
Republican
into that
Party.
political realm of things.
Yeah.
You know, part of the problem, and I realize, Heidi, you're a recovering senator, but you know, let's not talk about.
Okay, yeah. So that's
Is
going
that
beyond.
Cybok?
Sorry,
No.
who?
No, that's
No.
the actor that played Sarek in Star Trek Discovery.
Oh, what a piece of shit.
Oh, really?
I mean,
okay.
no,
Is that really him?
No, it's not. But it looks like him a lot.
Yeah, I was like, he looks like a Vulcan.
Well, comb-overs can do that.
Too bad he's not emotionless.
Democrat and who's going to win a seat in the Senate or the House or anything like that. Let's talk about it differently. David Shore, your
Nick
previous guest,
Gillespie?
he was canceled because he tweeted a link to a Princeton political scientist who happens to be black, who wrote about the effects of violent versus nonviolent protests in the 1960s on elections.
Okay, yeah. So now they're starting to talk about how cancel culture is bad for these different reasons, just after condemning someone.
One thing we need to make really clear, Yeti. Please, y'all out there in the audience, please don't go after any of these people you see in this broadcast. Please.
Oh, yes,
Don't go.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, do not attack. Don't do anything like that.
Kill him with kindness, I always say.
Yeah, that's not what we're about. We don't want to
That
stir
or
up
sarcasm.
Yeah. If something's going to be dealt with, it should be through the legal system and not from some mob, because mob
That's their tactics.
mob rule is not justice.
Yeah.
And if we resort to the same thing that they do, we're no better, and we won't create a world that can change. It'll just be the same cycle going over and over again. And we've seen
you
that
fight
before.
fire with water, not more fire. That's
Yeah.